We know your time is super valuable and we want to be mindful of that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We are going to record this webinar so that if you miss something, you can go back to the recording after, just in case you miss anything. You have to leave before the end, or I get so excited I talk really fast. My students complain of that a lot. So as some of you know, if you know EduSmart and you've used this in the past, you know that we are committed to empowering teachers with exceptional science lessons. And with STAAReady, we are continuing to fulfill that mission of ours. STAAReady is designed to meet every student at their level, providing tailored support to help them master science concepts and excel in the big test. We believe that in the potential of every child. By addressing individual needs, STAAReady ensures that all students have the tools they need to achieve their fullest potential. Today, I'm going to focus on the way that we have tailored the approach to help every child show growth in science. So let's get started. We are going to start with an overview and a rationale of what EduSmart's STAAReady looks like and how it came to be. We're going to explain the process and talk about what those lessons will actually look like. So we're going to look at the day in the life before the review, what needs to happen, data collection, and then we're also going to actually look at what this looks like, a bell ringer, a pathway breakout, and then an exit ticket. And then we will also make sure to cover any reports that you would be interested in. And then I will be stopping sporadically throughout to check on questions just so we don't get too far ahead. So let's look. So STAAReady is designed to help students demonstrate growth on the STAAR test tailored for their starting performance level. It is not a one-size-fits-all program. STAAReady pathways were developed to address the needs of students based on their current performance level. These pathways are meant to take 30 minutes paired with our bell ringer and exit tickets, and your teachers can cover a standard a day, maximizing time and effort for each student. We understand the challenges of STAAR preparation and have designed our program to respect that limited time available for review. So let's look at the 3 pathways. Our first pathway we created, it goes for the does not meet to approaches. So that for our students that were like, ooh, I don't think they're going to quite hit that level, we're looking at a does not meet approaches. So these students would go on pathway 1. Our students who are at approaches and could probably get bumped up to meets, that would be our pathway 2. And our pathway 3 is for our mates to masters. So kids who are right there on the cusp of meets and needs to get bumped into masters, pathway 3 is for them. All right. So let's go a little bit farther in depth for each pathway. For students struggling with a specific standard and at risk of scoring does not meet scoring, teachers can assign them to pathway 1. Pathway 1 is a teacher-led small group designed to provide targeted support for students who need extra time and help with key concepts. Teachers are the experts. They know their students best, and this pathway empowers them to deliver focused, personalized guidance that helps students succeed. With hands-on activities and a direct teach component, Pathway 1 offers students concrete learning experiences, enabling them to build a solid understanding and a strong foundation in the standard. Pathway 2. For Pathway 2, it is designed for students who are expected to score approaches or meets, helping them progress towards meets or higher. In this pathway, students will collaborate with 1 or 2 partners, leveraging each other's strengths to deepen their understanding and mastery of the standard. They will engage in digital activities that provide them to be focused and motivated. Pathway 2 provides targeted practice, offering the support students need in order to reach proficiency and demonstrate growth. And finally, we have Pathway 3. Pathway 3 is for students who are nearing that meets and ready to move into masters, as well as those students who are already scoring in masters and needs to maintain that performance level with opportunities to continue growing. This pathway is ideal for those self-motivated students who can work independently and simply need more time to review and refine their understanding of the key concepts in every standard. So that was a lot of information. I'm going to go over the standards and discuss how we've accommodated everything to match the way TEA is testing only certain TEKs and partial TEKs. But before I jump into that, are there any questions so far?
None in chat.
You doing good? Okay. Nobody nod off. I promise I'll try and keep it as quick and efficient as I can for you. All right. So these are the fifth grade standards. So every one of these standards that you are looking at, you have three possible pathways for your students. As we all know, our teachers are dealing with a lot, new new textbook, and now an altered STAAR test this year that is going to have everyone a little bit more stressed out. So to create STAAReady, we started out by using the TEA documents that we've all seen online that tell us exactly what is going to be assessed this year. And of course, next year we'll change it. We went line by line on that document to weed out any of the extraneous curriculum that they don't have to focus on for this STAAR test. We want to make sure we're maximizing your time spent with your students in review. Next are the standards for eighth grade. Eighth grade standards, there are so many of them. I think there's 29 of them total. We also looked at the frequency distribution of these standards, translating them to the new standards to help create 10-day and 15-day plans that are also available on our STAAReady platform. And then finally, we do have the EOC biology standards included. So make sure if you have friends that are biology teachers, we do have the biology in, and of course as well. All right. So what does this look like for teachers before they begin their lessons? Teachers will evaluate their students' data from district benchmarks, or if they need to, they can utilize EduSmart's Fooling STAAR practice test. Teachers will determine the standards they want to cover in their review and the order they would like to cover them based on this dive into the data. Once they've determined the standards, teachers will then determine a student's pathway based on progress monitoring for each standard. Some students can be excellent in some reporting categories and horrible in others. STAAReady allows those students to be in a different pathway for each standard. Student Z might struggle with force and motion. They're average at earth and space, and they're a whiz when it comes to organisms and environments. I might be student Z. So student Z would have pathway 1 for standards in force and motion. They could be assigned pathway 2 for earth and science standards, and then they could do pathway 3 for organisms and environments. So hopefully you understand how and realize how easily it is to differentiate for every child's needs. That's what is so wonderful about our STAAReady program. We are meant to attach ourselves to every student for the need that they have. Once the teacher has determined the pathways for their students, they can easily go into the EduSmart LMS and assign it there. Let's look. So when they go into assign content, we have already built in the 3 pathways. So pathway 1, 2, and 3. When we get into pathway 1, you'll actually determine that pathway 1, there are no computers necessary. It really is a lot of hands-on. But pathway 2 and 3, they can easily go in and click assign. It's going to pop up. Now, because we are basing this on student needs, they're going to want to go into their students, and then they'll drag their students over to assign it, and then give them the assignment date range. So depending on the teacher and what they're expecting of their students, they completely tailor make their due dates. All right. So I know that was a lot more information. So before I go on to look what an actual lesson looks like in action, are there any questions? So we understand what the pathway is. We understand how we're going to determine our students going on each pathway. And so now we're going to take a look at what that looks like as a whole picture if I walked into a classroom one day and a STAAReady lessons look going on. All right?
We have a question.
Okay.
This is already included in our EduSmart, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So let's look. So for all intents purposes, to keep our clarity on the topic, we're going to just focus on 5, 6A properties of matter. So what I'm going to show you is literally pathway 1, 2, and 3 for properties of matter, as well as our awesome bell ringer and exit ticket. All right. So the beginning of class starts 5 minutes. You will project the bell ringer onto so the whole group can actually go in and answer the bell ringer. You can do this multiple ways. Kids can just think of the answer in their mind and then talk about it. So the bell ringer will be displayed. You'll review the bell ringer. Our bell ringers are excellent. Talking to students that are concerned, this is one of those things that students struggle with are these graphs, charts, and other graphics, and actually analyzing them and interpreting the data that came from it. So what you will have in every one of your bell ringers is this really amazing graphic. And this graphic there is going to have some kind of question that's asking, what do we understand from this? Okay, so that is the bell ringer. We do want to make sure we go over the correct answers, fix any misunderstandings and misconceptions. So that should take 5 minutes. And then we're going to do our pathway breakout. So pathway 1 is going to go to a small group with their teacher. Pathway 2 students are going to go off to another side of the classroom with laptops and partner up. And then pathway 3 will go to the opposite side with computers and work independently. So let's look at what that looks like actually. So meet Alex. Alex is considered to be pathway 1. He will be in a teacher-led small group. That teacher will lead the students in a hands-on activity. They will do an instruction module. The teacher will direct and talk, and they'll have a great authentic conversation for all of the stopping points and questions. And then the students, in order for the teacher to have some sort of feedback on, did this work, the teachers are going to give them an exit ticket. And it's going to be a depth of knowledge 1. So that way it's specific to this pathway. So at the end of that pathway, a teacher can look through those exit tickets and go, my kids totally got it, or okay, we're going to have to work on this and go with an extension. If students finish early, they can then transition into pathway 2 tasks. We made sure in the development of all of our pathways that we did not overlap. So if it's used in pathway 1, we don't use it in pathway 2 or 3. So they can potentially keep going if they need it and have more time. Next is Beth. Beth would be considered pathway 2. She is going to have collaborative work. So in pairs, students will complete a digital activity. They'll watch an IM and they will discuss it. And then they will complete the IMC. For them, they will actually take their 10-question quiz as their data collection for the teacher. So at the end, they will have a quiz, and the teacher will be able to analyze those quizzes and grades to make sure that they were on track. And then if they finish early, they can then transition to pathway 3 tasks. And then finally, pathway 3 is Carter. Carter is going to work independently. He's going to complete a different digital activity than what was in pathway 2. He's going to complete his student reviews, and then he's going to work on his 5-question unit test. Now, you might ask, why did we do the unit test in pathway 3 and the quiz in pathway 2? The test is always going to be star-based, star-framed. It has depth of knowledge questions 2 and 3. So we definitely want to utilize those higher level questions for our higher level kids. And then if our pathway 3 students finish early, we do have extension activities for them as well to go into. All right. So the end of class, less than 10 minutes left in class, we're going to bring all the kids back together and we're going to display an exit ticket. The exit ticket is the journal prompt so that our students start working on their short constructed responses, because as we know, many of our students really do struggle with that writing component. So we're going to allow 5 minutes for them to write on it, and then we're going to actually discuss the exemplar answer with them. We want students self-evaluating. So hopefully on day 1, your kids will start writing their answer, and by day 5, we will have seen a strength increase in our short constructed responses, because kids are recognizing what a good answer looks like, and they're comparing their answer to it and slowly growing through that practice. All right. All right. So that gives you what the pathways look like, what the classroom looks like, and all the standards that we are covering. So the last thing we have to go over is our data. So what the teachers will look at for data. Are there any questions before we go into that?
No, ma'am.
Does this make sense so far?
No questions.
Okay. All right. All right. So you, of course, as the teacher, always go back to the data, right? That's how we build our lessons. That's how we build everything else. We always go back to look at the data to determine whether our lessons are working. So you will have data that is in the progress monitoring, helping you see it's mastering, it's meeting, it's approaching, or it did not meet. So that way you can continue to keep a track on all of those lessons. And then this is actually an example of a pathway 2 data, because pathway 1, remember, you are spending all that time with your students. So there will not be any computer data on pathway 1. Pathway 2 will. So you can actually see here that all of our students are utilizing their IM, don't judge it, because it was me. So I did actually go through that IM very quickly because I used to teach it. Then they opened their IMC, and then they did their interactivity, and they scored 10 out of 10. So I would say that was a win. And then your pathway 3 is going to be your human, is going to look like this. So they're going to have those 2 student reviews, and then their digital activity, depending on the standard. Sometimes your digital activity might be the word explorer, and other times it actually might be an interactivity or a simulation. And then that unit test. And then, of course, always remember with EduSmart, if they have this little orange arrow right here, that means there's more data. So you can't open it up and see exactly if they missed questions. You can see exactly what questions they missed and what answers they chose. All right. All right. So that goes over all of the information. Yes. So your 3 pathways are going to have exposure to your short question responses because of the fact that your IMC is going to have the journal prompt in there as well. And then you also, every day, your exit tickets are going to be journal prompts as well to do short constructed responses.
And Enrique would like to know about materials. Are they easily accessible for teachers to get?
For the ECRs.
Hands-on.
Yes. So let me go ahead and open that up. I think I have to share a different screen with you. So we're going to pull that up. So yes, let me go ahead and show you what our platform looks like so that you can. I've lost my Zoom. There you are, Zoom. Let's share this screen. So in your Zoom, in your platform, you have the opportunity to click STAAReady. If you want to look in your platform right now, you can go move along with me. Do not stress if your STAAReady button is not there. We've discovered some hangups in the SSO rostered student teachers. And so if it's not there, I promise we're going to make sure it's there by Monday. We're doing a great way of pushing out and making sure it's taken care of. So you simply click STAAReady.
Drea, we're still
right.
seeing your slideshow, not your LMS.
Really? Let's try again. Oh, yes. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it. Okay. So STAAReady is right here. So when you click STAAReady, it will go to, you can determine whether you want 5th grade, 8th grade, and then biology is coming. It's just still going through a little bit of quality control, no big deal. So in 5th grade, 8th grade, that you have the same activities, not same activities, you have the same layout. So you're going to have your toolkit up here, and then your 4 categories, reporting categories down there. Under the quick start guide for materials, you actually do have a lab supplies right here that you can click on, and you can get all of the lab supplies for that pathway 1 hands-on activity. So if you're going to do all of those materials, that's where it is. So it'll tell you this is the TEAC and these are the hands-on materials necessary. Does that answer Enrique's question? Perfect. All right. All right. Any other?
And then he had one other question about the rubrics as well. Do they have rubrics for the writing?
Oh, for the claim evidence reasoning writing?
Can you clarify? Is it, oh, the ER? Yes.
Yes, for the ECRs, when they do the exit tickets, is there a rubric provided that teachers can use?
For the pathway 1?
No, for the exit ticket in general.
For the
You
exit
mentioned
ticket,
at the
you'll
end of the
actually go over the you'll actually go over that with them in class. So that exit ticket, so this is actually what your bell ringer exit ticket looks like. So properties of matter. So you go over the right answer for bell ringer. Exit ticket gives you the prompt, and then we actually provide the answer because we do want kids self-evaluating. If you don't want to, you don't have to show the slide. But yes, we do offer the exemplar answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
That was it. I think we answered them.
Any feedback? We love feedback. So if you actually are looking at this and you are questioning or having any, or you think, wow, that was great, let me know. We really do love feedback on what we have and what we're doing. In your teacher toolkit, by the way, in your start guides, You do have a STAAReady plan. 5th grade, 8th grade, and biology all have one. It does show you what the generalized prep would look like. So bell ringer, pathway lesson,
Jones,
everything
will you
listed.
please call Dr. Stewart on your cell phone? Miss Jones, please call Dr. Stewart on your cell phone.
I love announcements. And then for teachers, depending on what standards they want to teach, they can come here and very easily click there, and they'll see exactly what their students will be doing in weather and climate. They'll see exactly what pathway 2 weather and climate looks like, and they'll see exactly what pathway 3 does. And then they're also given reminders of what they need to print out, and then also our extras. So if a kid gets through pathway 1 and they're still struggling, these extras are things that we did not include on any of the pathways. So this is something extra that your students can use in addition to our extensions. All right. And then I did highlight the pathway data collection. So for every pathway, how are we collecting the data to check for understanding? And then they can simply click back to standards, takes them back, and they can go to the next one. So it's something that, sorry. Oh. So it's super easy to use and to utilize for your teachers. And then scope and sequence is where you find your 10-day and 15-day plans. If you want to just go with the plans that we've created, utilizing the reporting category scores from last year and the frequency distribution. So teachers can do the 10-day lesson plan, which is for right here. So for biology, for 5th grade, we're saying do biotic factors and abiotic factors first, adaptation. They can click and they can see the actual TEK. Now this TEK has been edited to be specific to what TEA has said they are testing. So if there is extraneous information, we literally pulled it out so that you don't have to worry about teaching that and covering it. We do have the SEP connections and RTC connections, and then your vocabulary. What are the words that are going to be covered in that unit? And then they can go back to 10-day and keep exploring, or they can go to 15-day and they can look at the 15-day plans. So 15-day plans, these are the readiness standards, supporting standards, essential questions, all the good stuff is there for them. And then you also do have your training materials, which is just a simple slideshow that walks you through how to do everything. And I can actually go in and show you how to assign, right? Yes, I can go in and show you how we can actually assign it very quickly and very easily. We also made sure to include our reporting category test. If you've not seen these are STAR built and they're 20 questions long, and they are really helpful if you wanted to use it as a pre-test or a post-test after pathways of each reporting category. All right, so let's go into electricity. Pathway 1 is right here. I can view it, so I can open it up. So as a teacher, I can open it up so I can present it to my students. It has the lab video for the lab. It has the activity. It has the IM that the teacher is going to direct teach with. And then it has the exit ticket to display for students to write. Remember, this is the way we're collecting data for pathway 1. And then I can go back and look at pathway 2, or let's assign it. You also have your printable documents here as well. So let's go through and assign. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to assign this one. I'm going to click students because I want to be specific about who I'm assigning this to. So student 1 needs pathway 2 and student 3. So then I simply move it over, click next, decide my date range, hit next. They say these are what you're assigning to, these are not. Perfect. I hit assign, and just like that, it's ready for them. So now when they go in, I picked 2 and 3. So when I go in as a student, I will be able to go in and see, here's my pathway 2, and then I get started. So it tells them up front their instructions, what they should be doing, how long it should take them, and then they can get started. All right. Are there any questions?
Yes, so I have the school administrator access. Where would I find the STAAReady button? I don't know if it's
So
in the
if you're not seeing the STAAReady button today, it will be there by Monday.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. And if not, then please reach out to one of us and we will make sure it gets taken care of. But normally if you go and click log out, that has been helping a lot of teachers. Go log out and log back in. Otherwise, Monday should be your day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Put my teacher back on.
Nothing in chat.
Andrea,
Yes,
can you all remember to send me the list of the Port Arthur teachers that attended so I can make sure that I give them credit?
Yes,
Yep,
I
thank
sure
you.
Our
will.
Jerry
I
will
will.
take care of that for you.
Thank you, Miss
Gotcha.
Bernard.
We love having you every time. I just wish I saw your smiling face a little bit more. All right, guys. Well, if there are no more questions, if you do decide you have questions later on, please reach out to us. Our emails are right there. So if you have any questions, please send us an email. We are happy to help however we can. Education, science education is a passion of all of ours. So we are always here and happy to help. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
y'all.
a great evening.
Thanks,
Y'all too.
everybody.
Have a great evening and a
you.
happy Friday.
Happy Friday Eve. That's right.
Bye, thank you, ladies.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.